These days, my silence comes in bracketed breaths. A few here, a stillness at the window, a quick love note to the sky. The sunrise used to speak to me in glowing verse across the quiet of the porch, speaking of what the day might bring. Now most risings are pulled across the morning by laughter and sticky hands against my skin, telling me, this day will bring a sacred sort of mess. Joy is coming, love is here. My children tell me so.
Sticky hands indeed.
This is, I almost left this place. I almost left this place. Once I did. I left and I celebrated as soon as I crossed the line. The blue highway sign like a red pin placed on my desperation to run. Finally I breathed, finally, because some places hold a lot of hurt and that's enough of that. So I drank and I smoked in hallways and I let the city show me all the parts of me I had the freedom to touch. But I didn't touch. I put them on, tried them on like jackets in a high-end store I couldn't afford. And I walked out anyway, ignoring the alarms, pretending maybe it was someone else with a full back pocket. No one will find me, no one will find me here. I sat on a rug in the midnight and his voice on the phone saying, remember where you belong, and I couldn't find it belonging, so I came back to stay where it was. We built survival here. We built it so good we learned how to drown like an art form, cast our reaching arms like clay, paint it until we tell ourselves it's beautiful and this is life and this is enough, even if the hearts are screaming and half beating and barely breathing. We tried again, together the mountains were calling and we must go, we said, but a blue baby can't breathe in Colorado and a mother gives her baby air no matter where she has to stay. And I did, and places hold a lot of hurt and most of them were in me. I made them taste like drink and smoke and set alarms and found me here. Eventually, somehow I found sky here. Somehow I learned trees and what it is to pray without asking, and what it is to give without strings, and what it is to fall in love 1,000,000 times in a parking lot. I found me here.
Bravo.
This is, I thought I'd plant flowers here. I thought I'd plant flowers here. What kind of tool would I need to bust up the asphalt? I can see it now, the cracks, the earthquake of intention splitting the ground. Do you think the salt of me is buried here? How many layers in would I find them? Maybe they wrapped their wet arms around rocks and kept safe somewhere, knowing I'd be back with roots. Oh, that would be something to see them travel the roots of a rose or a sunflower, something yellow, something strong, something in love with the sun. I thought I'd plant flowers and they'd sing like flowers do. You have heard it, right? What frequency of sound is it so high and ethereal angels hum along? A song could travel time, eat away the night in May, an appetite for shrill silence. Let it fill in the cracks my voice couldn't touch. I thought I'd plant flowers so every time the concrete wall was littered with trash, the sky would see them and still smile. The cars would pass unbothered. The nights would come and go. The stems would still stand there. The petals would open and drink. This place would be beautiful. This place could be beautiful if I plant flowers here. Okay. Most often, I am leaping, no, jumping, no, diving head first into nothing. Or so it seems. A black pit, a hole in a tree, a cave carved out in the mountain. I hear them scream from behind their front doors, their bedroom windows, sat still with moving clocks gathering dust. As I howl and ask to be eaten alive by the unknown. I can't pretend I don't cry. I can't pretend my ribs don't ache with anxiety. with nightmare recollections of objects as sharp as the most hidden nails hiding behind this flesh, holding the love together. What a breath it is to know the unknown is unknown, only because I simply don't know what it knows yet, until it becomes all too familiar and I go looking for nothing in particular.
Bravo.
What women want. To sit in the bathtub with my hands between my legs and my back and cow and my eyes on heaven without a knock at the door. I want to scream my own name and feel my own tongue. How dare I enjoy myself without you? I want that bathtub to be deep enough to hold all of me at once, so I don't have to choose which part of me turns to ice and which parts are an ocean treasure. I want to fill my tank without a truck that circles twice, pretending to throw trash away. I know what I want, and it isn't you. To refuse a thing unless it gives, unless it feels like the dirt in my hands, unless it enters me as deeply as the sky. To tell you what I know about children. This one in my hand, that one in your heart, until you know they're more important than the wins you make or the money you take. I want a life made of music, to sit in the arm of a tree at sunset, to hang my legs off a mountain just before the morning gets out of bed. I want him to love me under the moon, in the air, in the dark, in the rain, in the car. I want him to know he is godly just as I see him. I want more hours in the night for writing, for painting, for eating ice cream by the pint. I want more hours in the daybreak for sleeping, for one more dream, for one more window-kissed thank you. I want my daughters to know what freedom is without knowing suffocation. I want my son to always listen like he does, to tell me out loud of his sadness. I want you to know I want for nothing. I am at the hands of my own giving heart. Keep going. The table talk sounds more like growling. The state of people, the loss of a home, the child asking for help with her quick mouth and refusal to go where she is asked. I quietly whisper, good, keep her that way. When I hear of her foreign name and pray, her disobedience catches quick like a deadly flame, much needed. Their eyes reach for their scalp, for the nape of the neck. When we speak of the giving to hands we can't see, and I wonder how did...
Stop. I told you to be quiet. Sit down. Start again.
Okay. The table talk sounds more like growling. The state of people, the loss of a home, the child asking for help with her quick mouth and refusal to go where she is asked. I quietly whisper, good, keep her that way. When I hear of her foreign name and pray, her disobedience catches quick like a deadly flame, much needed. Their eyes reach for their scalp, for the nape of the neck. When we speak of the giving to hands we can't see, and I wonder how. How did we get here and how do we leave? I wonder if my room was blue like water, a dousing out, a drowning out, a washing away, a flood over fire. I wonder if my walls were clouds and I was the storm swirling between. I learned to hold lightning in my mouth and I learned to swallow good and make it taste like candy. And after a time, I taught my body to be full of flashing spears and told it to be good. We're good. And everyone knows the party gets canceled when the weather doesn't listen. The table talk sounds more like growling, and I am a wolf and I can growl too. And I have learned what it is to file down the teeth and wear gloves over my paws. But a wolf is a wolf, and a storm is a storm, and there is nothing wrong with the weather. All right, this is to the anger. I didn't want to talk to you. I have taught you how to be your own opponent. You've taken a beating. You put up a good fight. Remember when you came out of my mouth like a sharp flame? There was racism in the hallway. You tried to melt it down, volcanic. Her finger turned a bolt that struck you. Remember after that how I swallowed you because nice girls will eat what they must to survive. No one tells you rage without witness is a rampage of destruction. Unsupervised, neglected, and alone, in your stomach it takes roots. Not a tree, but a forest, blazing a slow burn of a trail, inside out. You don't know part of you is under fire until something soft, like water, asks to enter. A river running truth, and you can't hide nature from itself. And you are naked, and you are skin and bones, and wildfire shows under your ribcage, smoke inside the mirror. You ask what's burning. You ask why is it so hot? Tonight I heard a woman say beauty isn't always pretty, and I let out a long exhale of relief at the afternoon spent in a snowbank with ice in my shoes, when my hands were shaking around the handle of a shovel, and I laughed until I cried, and I told the sky enough. Isn't this enough? Don't you see me snowblind? I am a goddamn warrior throwing cold behind my back. I became a furnace in a February front yard. I thought how ugly that moment was, or how ugly I was in that moment, but maybe I was finally choking on what had no business being wrapped inside my body. I felt angels touch my shoulders and hold back my hair as I got sick on what isn't mine to eat. I heard them singing of the beauty of that mess. They told me, turn off the car. You are not stuck. You are being asked to be still just a moment, and so I got still and stayed quiet so I could hear you. And I will never ask you to fight yourself again.
That was great.
Thank you.
Hold on.
February is asking persistently. So I smoked a bit last night, green and pink and tight on my lips, and I prayed, the listening kind. I sat still enough. I couldn't sit so still, so I laid there, covered me in a blanket on the wood, waiting for a picture, some ethereal answer I could deliver to the month, thinking, we have only just begun. 2 boxes filled, can't you wait? Can't you let it come to you slow? But no, I laid there, eyes closed and breath leading me home. Somewhere in, somewhere deep, somewhere I could see it, arms, something cold on my chest. The mouth is warm and I can feel a tugging at the center of my root. I can feel a pulling underneath my breath. He travels up my spine and I am open. My eyes are open to the tears on the mat, a salty chaser filling up my ears. He is a soft wave loving over me, and I am not drowning. I am learning how to swim. I am showing signs of life I didn't think to touch. I don't know how to answer if this counts, so I let it roll across me. Let the month catch it in a bucket if it can. Let it open wide and hold it. I will lay here. I will lay here. The pen hits the back door. From under the table, she tells me I am angry. I know, baby, I know. I am at a front desk with an empty womb and emptier arms, and she tells me how that baby screams for you. This is only the second morning. They tell me you're holding on to defiance.
The timer is actually perfect, a little dramatic.
Put it in the
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah, well, it's too
Yeah,
late
I'll
now.
put
I
some
stopped
sirens
it.
in there.
Fire trucks come putting up the phone.
All right, here we go again.
Okay. So fitting. The pen hits the back door. From under the table, she tells me, I am angry. I know, baby, I know. I am at a front desk with an empty womb and emptier arms, and she tells me how that baby screams for you. This is only the second morning they tell me you're holding on to defiance, and I am quietly proud to have birthed a fire. And still I think of my rage in the car, in the parking garage. My steering wheel takes a beating and so does the silence. She gets angry. I get scared, so I get angry at myself. I am breathing under the table. Mother of dragons, a dragon herself, I tell her it's okay to breathe a flame. It only burns for just a little until everything is new. This is a gift from the devil. A gift from the devil. That's what they called it. And if that's the case, I wouldn't have further than my skin to find it. I wouldn't have further than a mirror in the bathroom. Let me take a look at this generous giver. Let me see into her eyes, a woman on her own in a house full of musical voices. They speak of some fiery prison, some hellish landscape, an offering of burning trial. So what does it mean when I wrapped it myself in the plainest paper, when I laced it in gold, when I carefully chose the ribbon and folded it slowly with a smile? I chose this, you know. They'll want me to tell a sad story about a misery I don't feel. They'll want a drama of the mountains in my way, yet I am wearing snow, yet I am touching sky, yet I am standing still and reaching and holding such a presence. I suppose I am the devil herself, making a mess of confetti, tearing this paper to shreds, dancing in it barefoot, standing on tables, celebrating into sunrise all the peace she has handed over.
Absolutely fabulous. Jessica PTAK. You just witnessed something special, gang. Very proud of you, darling.